Elijah Magnier. He's a military and political analyst. Thank you very much indeed for being with us on Al Jazeera. I want to talk about Donald Trump's threat that he's going to hit Iran's power plants, and he's going to hit the biggest first. We're assuming that could be Bushehr on the Iranian coast. That's if the Strait of Hormuz isn't opened within 48 hours. Now, we've seen this kind of deadline-driven ultimatum that he's put before. How likely do you think it is that the US might do this?
Hello, Rob, and thank you for having me. I think that was U.S. anger reaction toward the Iranian missiles last night over Israel. And these missiles really hurt two places in Israel and caused several casualties. And I don't think the U.S. president is really going to start hitting Iran power grid, because Iran said it will retaliate, and the retaliation is increasing the questions of the presence of the U.S. on the Gulf territory, because it is not able to defend itself, but not able to defend its what we used to understand as strategic allies and partners. It turned out the bulk of the Americans invested in is actually.
Elijah, just bear with me just for a second, because we are having a little bit of difficulty with the line to you. But I just wanted to ask you as well. I just wanted to ask you that on March the 18th, Iran's parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, said the attacks on Iran's infrastructure meant that an eye-for-an-eye approach was now in effect and a new level of conflict had begun. Now, in terms of the retaliations that you've been describing, is this part of this process? Is this how that we're seeing now, that the one specific element of infrastructure is targeted, therefore there is a response against something similar in the other country? And what does that mean for the risks of an escalation?
Well, the risk of escalation is extremely high, because the Iranians are indeed retaliating against everything that the Israelis and Americans are hitting. The Israelis and the Americans hit the oil, the Iranian hit the Haifa refinery. The Israelis hit the Natanz nuclear facility with the Americans, and yesterday the Iranian hit Dimona, the Dimona village, but not necessarily the research center where the Israeli nuclear facilities are. Therefore, the Iranians are proving to have enough capabilities still in its arsenal to hit back and continue this war of attrition as long as it can, to impose a ceasefire and an agreement that end this war. Therefore, the Iranians are also hitting Gulf assets to make everybody pay the price of this war, and not only be limited to Iran. And this is what the Americans and the Israelis did not expect, actually.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about what we understand about this nuclear facility, which is about, I think, 13 kilometers away from Dimona? Because there is a certain amount on the line, but a lot of it is speculation, because Israel, of course, has always been very cautious about the information it gives out about its nuclear programs.
Well, the Israelis have started the nuclear program a long time ago in the 50s, when the French facilitated that, and then it was always kept undeclared, and it doesn't. Israel is not part of any nuclear treaty. This is why the production of its bomb came out as an information from inside the Israeli nuclear facility, and this is what we know today, that Israel may have between 100 and 200 nuclear bombs. Now, these bombs are very well protected under the ground, and so far the Iranians did not really hit the center of nuclear facilities in Dimona, but is hitting the village that is large, and it's around 16 kilometers from the Israeli nuclear facility. But that's also a message that the Iranians are not really willing to cause a problem with the nuclear the nuclear site that belongs to Israel, but it's saying that I can also inflict pain, not proportioned to the pain that Iran is feeling today. But this is no longer a question for the Iranian because they're fighting an existential war. This is why they're trying to look at the most vulnerable place in Israel to hit where the defense system is less efficient. And this is what they are trying with the cluster bomb, because it shows that these cluster bombs will fall anyway on Israel, even if the missile isn't intercepted. And that breaks the narrative of Benjamin Netanyahu that 2 days ago said that he had destroyed the Iranian missiles, but asked the people of Israel to be more patient because this war is going to continue.
We really appreciate you joining us on Al Jazeera, giving us the benefit of your expertise. Elijah Magnier, thank you very much indeed.